Yo, what's up, sports bettors? So, Heat Celtics, game four. We're going to be going through a little betting preview, and I was cracking up earlier. So, if you look at ESPN, I don't understand how this company is so clueless. You're going to see ESPN, their analytics department, they still have the Celtics as 63.1% to make the finals. 63.1%. They're down 3-0. A team has never come back down 3-0 in NBA history. And according to ESPN, the Celtics are 63.1% to make the finals, absolutely absurd, as well as 45.2% to win the title. So that's obviously wrong. If you look at every sports book, so every betting market, right? ESPN can say what they want. They're clueless. The betting market is where people are putting actual money down, right? So you can take a look at sportsbook odds and you can see lines have actually been moving towards the Heat. The betting market finally starting to put some respect on the Heat. They're favored in game four. They're roughly minus 125 favorites on most sports books. And I know this is very basic, but I've said it in other videos, and it's so important to understand, is as a sports bettor, you can browse odds for free on OddsJam, right? Any sport you want to look at. You literally get millions of lines. Any markets you want to look at, player prop lines for game four. Game three just ended. Sportsbooks already have player prop odds for game four posted. And you can see like all the odds from every sportsbook. And as a sharp bettor, of course, you always want to get the best possible odds, right? Like if you want to bet on the Heat, you should be taking them minus 115 on Bet Openly. If you're betting the Heat at minus 130 on, Action 24/7 as an example, when there's other sports books offering minus 115, like you're getting ripped off. And you're never going to make money if you're getting ripped off, right? It's like being a trader or a day trader who has to pay 20% more for every stock. You're not going to stand a chance at making money. But anyways, in this video, lines are already kind of moving around. So the money line odds haven't changed that much. The Heat opened up as small favorites, but I already have an early bet, and we're going to go through it. I'm going to explain the math behind the bet, break down everything for you. So the play I'm on is right here, really strong profit margin as well, is over 215.5 points at plus 105 odds on Fliff. So why is this play so good, right? We're going to go through it in a few different ways. So the way that this betting tool on OddsJam works, it's called the positive EV tool. And basically you just select the sports books you use. So I'm currently in California, so there's not a ton of sports books available, but Fliff right here is a new sports book. It's kind of like a startup. And there's a lot of profitable plays on this platform, but it's available in basically every US state. So you're going to see they're giving you the over 215.5 points at plus 105 odds, right? So when you're using OddsJam, the profitable bet is just going to be in green and in bold. So over 215.5 in Celtics Heat, right? This is the top profit margin play currently available for the 6 sports books I'm using. Again, you may use different books. You may use FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever. So you may see different plays available to you if you use the positive EV tool. But what you're going to see is the early action. So game 3 ends, sportsbooks post odds for game 4, early sharp action starts to come in and books start to move around odds, right? So you're going to see on Pinnacle right here, this is Pinnacle Sportsbook. They're known to be the sharpest sportsbook in the world. They have the over, right, as a very slight favorite. They have the over very slightly juiced. The odds are a little worse on the over, which means the over is the favorite outcome, right? The same way lines are juiced towards the Miami Heat, so the betting market, right? The betting market is projecting that the Heat have a higher win probability for game 4. It's the same thing here, right? Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker in the world, they're saying, hey, we think the over 215.5 points is a little more likely than the under, right? They're roughly the same odds, so it's roughly 50-50 to go over and under according to Pinnacle, but they have slight juice towards the over. And you're going to see, if you look at this line movement chart, so you can just click on an odd to see the line movement chart, is they've moved the over 215.5 points from plus 105 odds down to minus 107, right? So what this indicates to you is the early action was coming in on the over, so they started to move lines in favor of the over. The betting market is projecting a higher amount of points in this game. So the first, kind of way you can think about this bet, why is this bet profitable, is, look at the odds on other sports books. The average price, the average odds, price is just odds in sports betting, is minus 109 on over 215.5 points. We're getting this play on Fliff at plus 105 odds. So if you look throughout the sports books, you're going to see there's literally not a single sports book giving odds above plus 100. I mean, you literally have hundreds of data points, right? There's literally hundreds of sports books on OddsJam. They're all posting odds on the NBA Eastern Conference Finals, Heat Celtics. So you have dozens of data points, hundreds of data points in this case, telling you where the line should be set in every single sports book, right? None of them are giving you plus money. So Fliff is giving you a lot of value. And a lot of people will be like, oh, why does finding value make me money sports betting? And I mean, you just got to think about it. What does an investor do? They hunt through the market. They look for value. They look for underpriced assets. What does a day trader do? They look for undervalued stocks, right? They're searching through the market, the hundreds of different stocks, thousands of different stocks, looking for those plays or those stocks with value. And it's no different as a sports bettor. The only difference is what's so crazy, why I love sports betting so much, is all of these books, they all set lines independently. So you essentially have dozens of data points telling you where a line should be priced. And here you can see every sports book is saying like, yo, this line should be priced around minus 110 odds. And we're getting it at plus 105 on Fliff. So pretty clear value. This play has a 3.27% profit margin. So I bet it for $250. You can see right here, $250. I put my money where my mouth is. Again, in these videos, I really don't do anything complicated. I don't have some script I come in with. I'm literally just showing you where I'm finding value in the market and the bets that I'm placing to make money sports betting. So long story short, you're going to see here, this play has a 3.27% profit margin. So the reason you can make a lot of money sports betting, I've shown these pictures before and don't say them to be arrogant, but the reason you can make a lot of money sports betting, even with an ROI of 4%, 3%, is you're typically betting on games that are that day in sports betting, right? When you're betting on the MLB, we're betting on games that are today. When we're betting on the NBA, in this case, it's a little different because it's the playoffs, so there's a 1-day break. But you're going to see this game is 2 days away, and we're earning a 3% profit margin, right? The stock market goes up roughly 8% a year, and we're getting 3% in the bet. So you can just think about it. If you could earn, let's say, a 2% ROI on your bets, right? 2% ROI, you're betting on games every day. Over the course of a month, that's 60%, right? So you can rack up if you actually have an edge. Everything is contingent on you actually having an edge, but you're going to see 3.27% is crazy profitable. So I hit this bet for $250, as you just saw, 3.27% profit margin. So this percent column, it's just your profit margin, your edge, your profit margin, however you want to think about it. So I hit this bet for $250. It has a 3.27% profit margin. So the profit margin of this bet in dollars, right, is you just take your profit margin as a percentage, you multiply it by your stake, and you're going to see it's 818, right? And OddsJam basically is just using every sportsbook in the market. I mean, again, there's literally hundreds of data points. OddsJam is using every sportsbook as a data point on where the line should be set to calculate this profit margin. But we can kind of go through, very briefly, we can go through the math of how do you use a sportsbook's odds to calculate the profit margin for your bet. So we'll look at Pinnacle, just because Pinnacle is known to be the sharpest sportsbook in the world. So you can see, again, they have the over very slightly favored. So a calculator you got to know, I mean, every sharp bettor, professional sports bettor will know this calculator. It's called a no-vig calculator, a no-vig fair odds calculator. And basically what this calculator does is it takes a sportsbook's odds, right, and tells you the win probability for your bet, right? So we know Pinnacle right here, they have the over slightly favored. So obviously, Heat versus Celtics game 4, it's either going to go over 215.5 points or it's going to go under, right? So they have to sum to 100%. It's going to go over or under. So you can see because the over is very slightly favored, according to the no-vig odds calculator, this should make sense. The over is 50.23% to hit, right? This game is 50.23% according to the sharpest bookmaker in the world. And no offense, you're not smarter than the sports books. right? Like, I'm not smarter, no one's smarter. These sportsbooks have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in their ability to set lines. They take bets from thousands, millions of different customers in some cases, and they're moving around lines due to supply and demand. They have better models, they have better data feeds. Like, the key to making money sports betting is realizing 99% of sports bettors, they bet with their gut. They bet with their emotions, their heart. And that's why they lose money. Everyone thinks, oh, I watch sports, so I'm smarter than the sports books. I'm smarter than the entire sports betting market. And that's absolutely false, right? I've never placed a bet with my gut in 2022 or 2023, and I'm up about $290,000 in profit. So you can do what you want. I just follow the data. I follow the line movements, and I look for value in the market. And I don't bet with my gut. I don't bet with my emotions. So you're going to see it's like, okay, if we want to go through the math behind this play very quickly, this is the odds on Pinnacle, right? Minus 107 on the over, very slight favorite. Minus 105 on the under. So the over is 50.23% to win, a very slight favorite to win. So Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker out there, they're saying the game is a little more likely to go over 215.5 versus under 215.5, right? So the win probability for the over is 50.23%, and for the under, it's 49.77%. Again, this has to sum to 100%. The game's always going over or under, so if the game is over, if the game is juiced towards the over, if according to Pinnacle, the over is more likely, right? According to Pinnacle Sportsbook, sharpest bookmaker in the world, the over is a little more likely. So obviously, the over is going to be above 50% to occur. So we know the over, we know the under, the win probability. And again, like, you can think about this in a pretty simple way, right? Let's say, Pinnacle, let's just say Pinnacle, they had the over at minus 105 as well. So if they have the exact same odds on the over and the under, the sportsbook is saying, hey, we're giving you the same odds on the over and the under. So they're 50-50 to occur, right? It's just like flipping a coin. Right? 50-50 to occur. If they're giving you the same odds on both the over and the under, they're saying, hey, the over is 50% to hit, the under is 50% to hit. But in this case, they have the over very slightly favored, minus 107, so it's 50.23% to win, right? Which you can see right here. So we're betting $250 at plus 105 odds, right? So I'm betting $250, right, to win $262.50 in profit, which is just betting $250 at plus 105 odds. This is your total payout, but your profit is $262.50, right? Pretty simple. So what we can do then is we can back out the profit margin for our bet, right? In a kind of simple example, if this concept or the math is confusing, is imagine you had a coin, right? And let's say this coin is 50.23% to show up on heads. And your friend tells you, hey, let's flip this coin. If this coin shows up on heads, I'll give you $105. If the coin shows up on tails, you give me $100. Well, do you want to flip that coin with your friend? You should think about it. It's like the coin is weighted to show up on heads more often, right? It's 50.23% to show up on heads. Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker in the world, to loop this back to the bet, they have the over favored. So the over is slightly more likely. And we're getting plus money, right? We're getting plus 105 odds. So if your friend tells you, hey, I got this coin, it's 50.23% to show up on heads, let's flip it. If it shows up heads, I'll give you $105. If it shows up tails, you give me $100. I mean, just think about it. That would be a no-brainer coin flip with your friend. The coin is more likely to show up on heads, and you get paid more if it shows up on heads as opposed to what you have to pay out if it shows up on tails. So then you can just quantify the profit margin for your bet, right? According to the sharpest bookmaker, Pinnacle, right? This is gambling after all. So we could still lose $250. But the point is when you're placing plays with a mathematical profit margin, positive EV bets, right? You always win long term. So you're going to see, I have losing streaks. So in 2022, I went on a pretty brutal losing streak. In 2023, I've had losing streaks, whatever. But when you have the edge, when you're following the data, following the math, you always win long term. And obviously that's what's important. I don't care if I lose one particular bet. In 2022, I placed over 7,000 bets. So no, I don't care if I lose one particular bet. It's all about having a profit margin, an edge, and winning long term, right? It's just like that coin flip example with your friend. The coin could still show up on tails, but if it's actually weighted to show up on heads and you're getting paid out more if it shows up on heads as opposed to what you have to pay out if it shows up on tails, I mean, that's a no-brainer coin flip, right? Of course, the coin will show up on tails sometimes, you'll lose, but that's not the point. So we know, okay, 50.23% of the time we're winning 262.50, 49.77% of the time we're losing our stake of $250. So you can back out the profit margin, and it's $7 in profit margin, which you can see is roughly similar. Again, OddsJam, right? It doesn't just look at, when it's calculating this profit margin, it's just doing these same calculations that we just went through, but it's not only using Pinnacle, right? It's using every sportsbook. Every sportsbook is a data point. They're all setting lines. They all have their own unique models. They're all taking bets from different customers and moving around lines in different ways. So long story short, you don't just want to consider Pinnacle. It's just one of the data points, but it's known to be the sharpest bookmaker. So when I just backed out the math with you, you're going to see it's a 2.97% profit margin, which is roughly similar, 3.27% if you consider all sportsbooks in the market, not just Pinnacle. So hopefully this video is helpful. Really profitable early bet for Celtics Heat. ESPN is clueless. And I'm still in awe. So if you have any questions, I'm in awe that the Heat are up 3-0. But regardless, if you have any questions about sharp sports betting, profitable betting strategies, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. Let's make some money.